In a mansion where marble floors shone brighter than the sun, a chilling silence whispered through the golden halls. The millionaire's son, pale and fragile, lay on his final breath. Doctors had given up. Medicine had surrendered. Machines beeped faintly, counting down his final moments. Outside the door, the maid wept silently, clutching her apron. Her own son, covered in dust and dirt, watched with trembling eyes. He wasn't rich, but his heart carried something greater. Faith. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments, where are you watching this from? I love seeing how far this story reaches. No one believed he could help. Not even his mother. But when he saw the dying baby, something stirred deep inside him. He stepped forward, barefoot on the cold marble, holding nothing but hope. The millionaire shouted, but the boy didn't stop. In his small hands, he carried a secret his mother had once told him, a miracle passed down through the humble hearts of the poor. He knelt beside the baby, his tears falling like prayer drops. The maid gasped. The air froze. Time itself seemed to stop. Everyone stared as the poor boy whispered something softly. No one could understand his words, but his eyes glowed with faith. And then, something began to change in the lifeless child's breath. The impossible was about to unfold, right before their eyes. Because sometimes, miracles are born from the hands of those who have nothing. The mansion was filled with despair and disbelief. Doctors whispered the words no parent wants to hear. The boy won't make it through the night, they said. The millionaire collapsed to his knees, numb and broken. Machines beeped slower, the sound of time running out. The maid stood helpless, wiping her tears with trembling hands. Her son, standing by the doorway, watched everything silently. He didn't understand death, but he felt its shadow. Every second felt heavier, every breath colder. The baby's skin turned pale. His lips lost their color. The millionaire shouted for more help, more medicine. But nothing could stop the truth. The end was near. A doctor shook his head, eyes full of regret. The mother fainted, the room filled with cries. The boy looked around, his small heart racing fast. He saw angels in his dreams. Now they felt near. He clenched his fists and whispered to himself, "There's still hope." Everyone else turned away, but he stepped closer. No one noticed the fire in his young eyes. Something divine was calling him to do the impossible, and that call was stronger than fear itself. He took a deep breath, ready to act. His mother tried to stop him, but it was too late. Faith had already chosen him for this moment, and the countdown to a miracle had quietly begun. He knelt beside the dying child, heart pounding in his chest. His tiny hands shook as he touched the baby's cold skin. Tears welled up, but they weren't tears of fear. They were tears of faith, glowing in his innocent eyes. He closed his eyes and began whispering softly, words no one understood, a prayer older than time. The maid gasped, her hands covering her mouth. The millionaire yelled, "Stop! You'll hurt my son." But the poor boy didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't fear. He kept praying, his voice trembling but steady. Each word carried hope, wrapped in pure love. The air in the room began to change, subtly, mysteriously. The light from the window flickered like a heartbeat. Even the doctors froze, unsure what they were seeing. The millionaire felt anger rise, but then hesitation. Something about the boy's prayer felt holy. He had never believed in miracles, not until now. The maid fell to her knees, whispering her own prayer. The boy's voice grew stronger, filled with unexplainable warmth. It wasn't just prayer, it was a soul speaking to heaven. And heaven, for the first time, seemed to listen. A gentle wind brushed through the room. The windows were shut. The dying baby's fingers twitched. The first sign of life. Everyone gasped in disbelief, frozen in silence. The boy opened his eyes and smiled. At first, no one dared to believe what they saw. The baby's chest moved, just slightly, but enough. A faint color returned to his cheeks, soft and warm. The doctor's eyes widened. It defied science. How is this possible? He whispered, trembling. The millionaire rushed forward, unable to speak. The maid clung to her apron, crying uncontrollably. The poor boy just stared at the baby, whispering again. It was as if his voice carried life itself. Every word, every breath. A bridge between heaven and earth. The baby coughed once, then again, louder this time. A sound echoed through the mansion like a bell of hope. Everyone froze. No one moved. No one blinked. The millionaire fell to his knees in shock and awe. He looked at the boy, unable to believe his eyes. This poor child had done what millions couldn't. No machine, no medicine, only pure faith. The boy smiled shyly, still holding the baby close. The maid whispered, "It's a miracle. A true miracle." Even the doctors bowed their heads in silence. The air smelled of something divine. Peace, light, life. The millionaire whispered, "Who are you, child?" The boy looked up, eyes shining. "I'm just someone who believes," he said softly. And at that moment faith became real. The man who once worshipped wealth felt his heart break open. For years money had been his god. Now it meant nothing. He had hired the best doctors, bought every possible cure. But none could do what this poor boy's faith had done. He stared at the boy, tears filling his eyes. He saw not poverty, but purity, strength, and light. The maid fell beside her son, holding him tightly. "You saved his life," she whispered through tears. The millionaire couldn't speak, only cry in silence. He realized that miracles don't come wrapped in gold. Sometimes they come barefoot, covered in dust. He took the boy's hand, trembling with emotion. "You've given me more than all my money ever could," he said. The boy shook his head gently, smiling humbly. "I didn't do it alone. God did." The room filled with quiet sobs, tears of gratitude. The doctors looked away, humbled beyond words. Even science bowed before faith that day. The baby cooed softly, alive, breathing, beautiful. And everyone knew they had just witnessed the impossible. The millionaire embraced the maid and her son. For the first time, his heart truly understood compassion. He whispered, "From now on, you are family." The poor boy smiled, because love had won. And heaven smiled back. Days turned into weeks, but the story never faded. The boy became a symbol of faith in the entire city. People came to the mansion just to see him. They touched his hands, hoping to feel a blessing. But he always said, "I'm not special. I just believed." The millionaire's life changed completely that day. He built hospitals for poor children, in the boy's name. The maid was no longer just a servant. She was family. The baby grew stronger each day, laughing and smiling. The house, once filled with silence, now echoed with joy. Every wall carried the memory of that divine day. The millionaire stopped chasing money. He chased meaning. He donated half his wealth to heal the sick. He told everyone the truth. Faith is the richest treasure. The boy returned to his small home, unchanged and humble. But in heaven's eyes, he had become a legend. People whispered his story for generations to come. A poor boy who healed a millionaire's dying son. A child who proved that love and faith can conquer death. The baby's laughter became the melody of redemption. And the mansion became a place of prayer and hope. Every sunset reminded them. Miracles are real. All it takes is a heart that believes. And one small act of love can light up the world. Forever. The story spread far beyond the mansion's golden gates. People called him the boy who touched heaven. But he never let pride enter his small, pure heart. He still helped his mother clean houses every morning. He still prayed every night in silence and gratitude. The millionaire often visited, bringing gifts and food. But the boy only smiled, saying, "You've given enough." He didn't heal for fame. He healed for love. Every time he saw the baby laugh, he felt peace. He knew that moment had changed his destiny forever. The maid thanked God daily for her son's courage. She often whispered, "He's my greatest miracle." The millionaire's wife, once proud and distant, changed too. She treated the maid as her sister, with warmth and tears. The mansion had transformed into a place of unity. Rich and poor shared one table, one meal, one faith. No one cared who had gold, only who had love. The boy's heart remained pure, untouched by the world. Every smile he gave felt like a blessing from above. He didn't need heaven. Heaven already lived in him. And in every prayer he whispered, a miracle slept quietly. People would come, asking him to heal their loved ones. He would only say, believe, and miracles will come. His humility became his greatest power, and the world quietly bowed before his innocent grace. One stormy night, the mansion was struck again by tragedy. The millionaire's wife fell gravely ill without warning. Doctors rushed in, ringing machines and medicines. But her condition worsened, her pulse fading fast. Fear returned, stronger than before. Faith was tested again. The millionaire broke down beside her bed, sobbing. He prayed the same way the poor boy once did. But his words trembled, filled with guilt and fear. He begged God, not again. Please, not her too. The maid ran to fetch her son, her heart racing. When he arrived, lightning flashed across the sky. He looked at the woman, pale and still as snow. He didn't hesitate. He knelt and began to pray. The same whisper, the same warmth filled the air. Tears streamed down his cheeks as he held her hand. Faith never dies. He whispered, it only waits. The millionaire fell to his knees beside the boy. This time he prayed too, side by side, rich and poor. The storm outside raged, but the room glowed softly. Minutes passed like hours. Then, her fingers moved. A weak breath escaped her lips. She was alive. The miracle had returned, through the same small hands. And once again, heaven answered a poor boy's prayer. Faith had triumphed. Twice. News spread faster than fire through the city's heart. Every paper carried the story of the poor healer. Reporters came with cameras, lights, and endless questions. But the boy never sought fame. He only sought peace. He spoke softly. I just did what love told me to do. Crowds gathered outside the mansion, lighting candles. They sang songs of faith, unity, and divine mercy. The millionaire stood beside the boy, proud and humbled. He announced a foundation in the boy's name. Its mission, to bring hope to every forgotten child. Schools were built. Water wells were dug. Lives transformed. The maid smiled through tears, proud beyond words. The world had found a symbol of pure goodness. Church bells rang in honor of the boy's miracles. People from other lands came seeking his blessing. But he always reminded them, miracles belong to God. He never took credit, never wanted gold or fame. He only wanted the world to believe again. The baby he once saved was now walking, laughing. Every giggle was a hymn of gratitude and grace. The millionaire's family treated the boy as their own. Their love erased the walls between rich and poor. And for the first time, the city saw what faith could do. It could make heaven touch the earth. Years passed, but the bond between them never faded. The boy grew into a humble young man of kindness. The millionaire aged, but his heart stayed full of love. One evening, he called the boy to his side. Tears shimmered in his old, weary eyes. My fortune means nothing compared to what you gave me. He handed the boy a key to the mansion itself. But the boy shook his head gently, smiling. This house belongs to love, not to me, he said. The millionaire wept, not from sadness, but awe. He had never met a soul so pure, so selfless. The maid placed her hand on her son's shoulder, proud. Her once poor child had become a light to the world. The millionaire whispered, "You taught me how to live." And then, with peaceful eyes, he took his last breath. He left the world smiling, not empty, but fulfilled. The boy knelt beside him, whispering one last prayer. He thanked God for sending love in so many forms. The mansion bells rang softly that night. In peace, a new dawn rose, and with it, a new legacy. The poor boy had changed countless lives forever. He didn't need riches, fame, or glory. He had already earned the greatest treasure, souls healed by love. And heaven awaited his next miracle. True miracles don't come from wealth. They come from faith. The smallest prayer can shake the heavens above. A child's heart can carry more power than gold. Because faith is not about seeing. It's about believing. Love knows no class, no color, no boundary. It flows through those who open their hearts to give. The millionaire learned that day. Compassion is the real fortune. And the maid's son proved that even the poor can heal kings. When hearts unite, heaven listens. When love speaks, miracles obey. The mansion that once echoed with sorrow now sang of hope. Every wall carried the memory of a humble prayer. Every tear became a drop of light in someone's dark. The boy's story lived on. A reminder for generations. Faith can raise the fallen, heal the broken, and save the lost. Because God listens not to voices of power, but of purity. And when a heart believes beyond fear, mountains move. So never doubt the strength of goodness within you. Even one small act of faith can rewrite destiny. For where there is love, the impossible becomes real.